It can work on big tanks. It can work on small tanks. No more heavy buckets of water. No more repetitive gallon tea pitchers. I am of course talking about the very useful Python hose. This video will show you how to use a Python hose to lessen the stress and strength and time it requires to do regular maintenance water changes for your aquariums. Your basic Python hose will come with the hose itself, with a gravel vacuum attached to it if you have gravel. Since I have sand in my tanks, I took this part off, and an adapter for your sink and for the hose. Speaking of the sink, the first thing we're going to need to do is remove this little guy called the aerator from our sink. Sometimes it's hard because it's slippery to remove, so I like to use a grippy oven mitt to help me remove it because I'm also not very strong. Anyway, once that's off, you can start to put your adapter on your sink. Make sure you don't lose this. It's super important. You want to keep onto it. The adapter has this copper thing that you're going to put onto your sink and tighten it up really, really tightly. Once that is very tight, this top and this bottom also are very tight together, you want to put your hose on. Okay, the part without the little lever is the part that you want to attach to your sink. Attach it to the horizontally part of the adapter that's sticking out, and make sure it is also a very tight connection. Now that that's done, I'm going to describe a little bit about how this adapter works. When we turn the water on, the water will go straight down and out when this is down. That causes a vacuum in this area, which causes a vacuum in the hose. This is how you remove water and vacuum your sand or gravel with the Python hose. When you are done removing the water that you want from your tank, and after you have conditioned your tank for chlorinated water, you will take this part down here, push it up, and turn it to the the left really tightly. Then the water will go through the sink into here, and it will go into your hose and straight into your tank. That is why we want to condition our water for chlorine before we start adding new water, since it will be straight from the tap. This also stops the need for filling up buckets or repetitive jugs of water. You can just fill it straight from your faucet. We're going to start by vacuuming out this aquarium. Before I start vacuuming, I want to say a few things I did first before this video. Because this is an axolotl tank, I took the axolotl out and put him in a tub, which I described in a previous video. I put all of his decorations in one spot, and I turned off the filters. Turning off the filters and possibly moving the decor around is very important for any tank, even a fish tank. Now the sand is clear and we can vacuum it. So here we go. As you can see, with the water running, we stick our hose in there and it makes a wonderful vacuum for the water. And we can start to vacuum the junk off of our sand. It is important to note not to stuff the hose into your sand because you will vacuum up your sand. You're trying your best to leave the sand intact while vacuuming up the stuff that is accumulated on top or under your sand. Once every couple of months, you might want to mix up your sand with your hands and then vacuum the top of it. As you can see, it's a very efficient vacuuming method, and usually only vacuums the soft stuff that, the waste from the axolotl and not the sand. Okay, so our sand isn't perfect, but it looks a whole lot better. Most of the stuff on top of here is just little plant pieces from these moss balls. So we are going to now refill this tank. Now that we're done vacuuming, we're going to take this, we're going to push it up, and we're going to turn it to the left very tightly. Check all of our connections, because now the water doesn't have as easy a path out of this fixture. It's going to go this way, but if there's any loose ends, it'll spray all over your kitchen. I had that problem once. So check out your connections. As I mentioned before, it is insanely important to condition your water for chlorine before you add new water. You can condition the water if you want to use tea pitchers or anything. You can condition that water, or you can condition your whole tank before. Condition your tank according to how much water your tank will hold, not according to how much water you're adding. That adds a safety buffer for any beneficial bacteria in here you don't want to kill with chlorine. So go ahead and do the full dose before you add a drop of tap water to your tank. Now you want to put your lid back on. It'll help hold your hose in place, or you can buy the little U-shape thing for the Python hose that will just attach it to the wall of your aquarium. I don't have that, so I'm going to use weight to help me. Here's hoping that will hold the hose. I'm going to go turn the water on and see what happens. And there you have it. Your tank will now fill up with water. You can fill it to your desired height. For axolotls, you want to keep a close watch on the temperature. I know the hose is obscuring it. And then when you're done, you can put everything back the way it was. Okay, we're done now. So the next thing you want to do is go ahead and turn this open. Now go ahead and go get your hose out, because right now it's siphoning out some of the water that's in your hose. Look at our nice full tank, and we didn't need a single bucket or tea pitcher. So now that this is opened again, we're going to use that to our advantage to clear the hose. What you want to do is wrap it like it was originally and let the water sink down and come out into your sink. Tiny bit hard to show you this one-handed, but that is kind of how we're talking. Now that our hose is empty and coiled, we're going to remove it from the adapter. And we're going to move the adapter from the sink. And then we're going to put our aerator back onto our sink. If anybody's wondering, this is what your water does without your aerator. And this is what your water does with your aerator. A lot nicer. Put all your decorations back the way they were, or however you want to put them back. Give your tank a little bit of time to wind down and all the sand stub straight to sink to the bottom again. So our water looks a little murky, but that's okay. We have our filters running. They're nice and bubbly. We have a little hang on the back filter right here that has just a little bit of water pressure. And soon our water will be nice and clear. But I think I'm going to go ahead, and I know you've all been waiting to see him. We'll go ahead and put Ori back in his tank. Here's our little Ori. He'll be happier once his water clears up. Alright, I hope this video was helpful, guys. Please like and subscribe. That would be helpful. And ask all your random questions, and I'll try my best to do videos to answer them. Have a wonderful day. And Ori says, thank you for cleaning my tank. Now go away. Bye.